All right, we are live. Great evening, great evening, great evening. Thank you all so much for joining us on this evening for another Think Tank Thursday. I am your host, Dr. Same I Am, Sabrina Tawali. So excited, super elated, just honored on this evening to have two of some of our most elite students from the illustrious North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. Can I get an Aggie Pride?
Aggie Pride.
Aggie Pride.
So on this evening, I have the pleasure of, sitting down and having a conversation with these two gentlemen. First, Mr. Troy Elbert, and then, of course, Mr. Bilal Issifou. So I'm going to allow Troy and then Bilal to introduce themselves, and then we're going to go ahead and get started with the conversation.
Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Troy Elbert Jr. I am a sophomore applied mathematics student from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. I'm a Spring 20 initiate with the F1 chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity. I also serve as Mr. Sophomore for the 2020-2021 academic school year.
All right. How y'all doing? My name is Bilal Issifou. I am a senior pre-law student from Greensboro, North Carolina. I am also a Spring 20 initiate into the Beta Epsilon chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. In addition to that, I'm the CEO of Unchained, Inc., a diversity recruiting platform that helps HBCU students like myself obtain career and mentorship opportunity. And the last thing I'm gonna say about myself is I'm just an all-around hustler. That's just what I am. That's what I like to call myself.
All right, hustle real hard. And so Bilal, if you can kind of scoot back there, because you keep going back and forth. I was like, he about to make me dizzy.
Chair, I'm sorry.
It's okay, hon. It's okay. And so let's get started, gentlemen. Let's chat it up. Ladies and gentlemen, those of you who are viewing on this evening, thank you all so much for watching. If you have questions, please, by all means, place them in the chat box and we will be happy to address them. And it can be anything that you would like for us to address except the election. We just don't want to go into all of that on tonight, because I want these gentlemen to really give you all some tools of the trade, especially for those of you who are now starting at college. Some of the things some of you have aspiration to do, like what Troy is doing, and he's Mr. Sophomore, or you may have aspiration like Bilal, starting a business, a company right before you even graduate from college. So let's go ahead and dive deep. So gentlemen, my first question, why A&T? I mean, of all the HBCUs in North Carolina, or in the nation actually, why did you choose North Carolina A&T?
I'll take that one first. So both my parents actually went to A&T, and I've been growing up in Greensboro. I've been coming back to every homecoming since I've been about 2 or 3 years old. So Aggie Pride was really all that I had known. And I got a scholarship for a math scholarship, and it pretty much covered most of my tuition, and that was a plus. And coming from high school, I transferred from a predominantly white school to a black school. I just knew I had a little break where I was like, I'm going to go to ECU because this is where all my friends are going. But then I transferred back to a predominantly black school, and I just realized what I was missing out on, all the experience and just being with my people, being able to unite and come together with people. So I decided to come to A&T. I went to all the tours. I've been touring A&T since I was about a junior. My mom made me tour about 3 or 4 times to make sure that this was the right fit for me. And it would just seem so friendly. It seemed like a family fit, and it was just a perfect niche for me.
That's good.
For me, I have like a lot of connection with the school. My dad is a professor at the school. I attended the middle college at A&T for high school. So ironically, I didn't even want to go to A&T just because I felt like I've been at A&T my whole life. When I finally decided to come, like it felt natural. Like as soon as, I stepped foot on campus and, I felt surrounded by, everybody that I need to be surrounded by. And then I realized like when you're in college, you kind of feel like you're in your own different world. Like when I'm at A&T or I'm on campus and stuff like that, I don't even remember that I'm in Greensboro because we literally live in our own utopia of different things going on. So it's like an amazing experience to be able to connect with like-minded individuals, find people. I met somebody from Alaska, Nevada. I'm like, I never would have met anybody from Nevada without coming to school here. And then, it's the #1 HBCU in the country. So, I'm the best. So I want to go to the best. So, yeah, had to add that in there. Sprinkle a.
Well, excuse me then. And So just a little back history. I've known Bilal because I used to actually work at the Middle College of A&T, and that's how Bilal and I actually built our relationship. He used to spend almost his entire day, if he was not in class, in my office for the 3 years, because his first year, he didn't tell y'all, his first year he got denied. He didn't get accepted to the Middle College. And he will hold that story over your head, especially Miss Williams. Shout out to Miss Williams, because he was the one who said, not this time.
And it's crazy. It's crazy.
But he applied again, and fate just so happened he got in, and he has been there, and he has not left our side. Y'all, he graduated, and he is still my child. So, you know, that's the type of family atmosphere. And then Troy saying what he said about, you know, both of his parents actually being alumni. So that tells you about the strong history, the rich history of North Carolina A&T. So that is some amazing stories, y'all. So my fellow Aggies, don't take it for granted that you are in Aggie, you know, and that's just what Aggies do. So what were some of your college goals? So like when you guys first hit campus, well, Bilal, you've been on campus. Troy, you've been on campus too. You both of y'all basically grew up on campus. But when you got to campus as an actual student, now I am legit enrolled. I have financial aid. I have a dorm. I have, you know, classes. I'm on my own. What were some of your goals that you all have?
I could take that verse. For me, instantly, like I came into college with a different mindset because I realized coming from the middle college, my time here was going to be short. So I instantly wanted to come in and make a name for myself, like not like just for the publicity or for what it is. It's just because I knew, you know, being from here and then only having a short amount of time here, I can't just go through the motions while I'm in college. I have to make some sort of impact. Although coming in, I didn't know what that impact was or all the things that I was going to do. I knew it was going to be something. And then once I realized that momentum picked up, that's when it was just kind of like, wow, like this is something that can be done. And then also like one of my biggest pet peeves were like when people used to tell me like my freshman year, oh, you're just a freshman, just wait for this, just wait for that. And that made me used to want to prove them wrong all the time. So I vowed my freshman year to get an internship and be one of the only freshmen like around the people I knew to get one, because we would go to career fairs. They'd be like, oh, we're looking for junior, senior. People would get denied and discouraged and never apply. I went outside, I did like 200 applications. 7 said yes, 200 may have said no, but like that showed me that like people literally put a limit on themselves and don't actually like, you know, don't allow anybody else's limitations to dictate like your own reality. And that's what I learned early on. That's what's been driving me like from freshman year to now.
That's good. Troy?
Some things that I wanted to do when I came to college, like Bilal, he has a parent that works here. My mom actually works here at A&T too. So I wanted to come to A&T and I wanted to set my own footprint. I wanted to be my own person. I didn't want everybody to be like, he's just doing this because of his parents. But I wanted to be successful because of what I did and what I wanted to do. I also wanted to get involved. I wanted to step out my comfort zone. Coming into college, I was really quiet and reserved, and I just knew that I had missed a lot of opportunities because I passed them up and I was quiet and reserved and I sat in my place. But coming to college, I knew that I needed to get my foot in the door. I needed to meet the right people, connect with them, and just find a way to be successful and get in my bag in the future. So that was some of my goals.
And that's good. That's good, y'all. That's commendable. So for both of y'all, what I heard was the fact that you stepped out of your parents' shadow, because a lot of times people will box you in because of what they've seen your parents do, or, you know, and though both of your parents are parents of high stature and high caliber, you need to make it, like you said, Troy, your own footprint, you know, your own path. You wanted to go your own way, and you didn't want to do what everyone else thought you're supposed to do it. And so that's one of the tips for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, coming from two of your own peers. You know, you do not have to be boxed in. Like Bilal said, do not place the limitations. The only limitations you have is the ones that you place on yourself. People always say that the sky is the limit, and it's really not. There's some stuff beyond the skies. The sky is not the limit. You know, that's a limitation you placed on yourself.
Definitely. I heard this quote by Jeff Bezos. He said, the sky is the limit, but we touched that in the 70s. So there is no limit. Like, we've been touched the sky. So when I heard that, I was like, yeah, That's crazy.
And we all know who that. If y'all don't know who that is, first and foremost, you must be living in a box.
Yeah.
You're living in a shell. Jeff Bezos is the founder of Amazon, the Amazon, okay? The one who is an advocate at Amazon. I said, I'm gonna be your personal billboard.
What? He makes 200 mil every 2 minutes. 200 mil every 2 minutes.
Who does that?
That's ridiculous.
We've been sitting here now for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, he already made.
Listen, already made $1 billion. Ain't that what $1 billion?
We gotta wake up.
I mean,
we gotta wake up.
We've got to wake up. And so I'm glad you said that. That goes into my next question. What is your brand? Like, a lot of people think what you said earlier, you come to college, Troy made mention of when he was in high school, he said back he was more reserved, but when he came to college, he realized if I don't go get it, nobody's going to get it for me. But now, you under that same mindset. So what is your brand, and why is it so important for you, even as a college student, to build your brand?
Okay. So coming to college, I had a brand I was just an athlete because I was quiet. I was really good at sports. And then I wasn't as fortunate to have an opportunity to play college sports at the next level. So I had to rebrand myself, and getting involved on campus last year, it showed me what to do, how to make an impact in people's lives, how to reach out to the community and do things like that. So I applied for the chief of staff position for SGA. So I was the freshman class chief of staff, and I learned how to give back. I learned how to sit in meetings. I learned a lot of things that will help me in the future, Robert's rules. I learned a lot of things like that. So this year I wanted to run for Mr. Sophomore because it would give me a better platform, a bigger platform to touch more people. And so I did that. It was a big step for me because a quote that I live by is you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I've been living by that quote probably since like 10th, 11th grade. And so I stepped in there, I stepped out of my comfort zone. I did it, I won. And I've been preparing for this moment, and I've just been developing.
That's so awesome. And so I got to put a plug real quick before Bilal get in. So one of their line brothers is my little brother, Victor. And he just so happened to also to be the Mr. North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. And one of the things I can say for Victor, I haven't known Victor long, but we do go to church together. And just his heart and passion for the community. So I had him on one of my shows that I did earlier a couple of months ago, talking about being Black in America. And so for him, that was something that he really spoke about, being a Black man, especially in a college level, well educated, well respected, but still not respected, right? And so I just had to put that plug in because, it's not just these two gentlemen doing what they're doing. Everyone here is capable, those who are watching and those who will listen later. You all have the ability and the capability to formulate your brand and to brand yourself. You just have to have the willingness to do it. Bilal?
Very similar to what Troy said. Coming out of high school, I had to go through a rebranding period because, like when you're in high school and everything, all is pretty much sports, and you give your all to sports and, achieving your goal, it's hard to kind of hit that reset button because you feel as if like that's all you knew. So, being able to shift the trajectory, because the same amount of effort that you put in sports, you realize that once you put in other things, you excel way more because those things don't even take as much effort as sport or enough time or the same amount of time. Once you realize that and see how many more places you can make impact, you kind of dedicate yourself to building out your brand because you realize your brand is what, kind of facilitates your path, like your brand, your purpose, your reason, all that aligns, because if all of them align in one place, then everything you do will align with what you're trying to get out of life pretty much. Like, so anything, like you said, you're like Troy mentioned, like he set himself up. He interned at SGA to set him up for Mr. Sophomore. Mr. Sophomore is going to turn into an internship. An internship is going to turn into a full-time. Full-time is going to turn into a business. So everything is level, and rebranding yourself or reshifting, your path and your vision to align with your goals is why rebranding yourself is important, what your brand is.
And that is so important. You guys live some key. So I'm gonna tell you guys, Bilal and I were joking with Troy because when he got on, he had on his tie, he was ready. But that's his brand, you all. Your brand is not just, what comes out of your mouth, but even in your attire, rebranding yourself. You may have been one way in high school, but you have got to, like Bilal said, shift the trajectory of your life. So because he's Mr. Sophomore, he carries himself in a way that is representative to not just North Carolina A&T, but also to his classmates. Because every time he stepped foot on campus, he is representing the North Carolina Agriculture and Technical State University brand, specifically his sophomore class. Okay, and then of course a representation of himself. With Bilal, Bilal and I just came on here, we just it's 8 o'clock. The only reason, because usually I'm dressed up from work, and so it just usually runs over my attire. But because I was with the college students tonight, I was like, let me be a little stylish, But I learned from Troy. Troy taught me something tonight. You always got to stay on your game. And so you do need to brand yourself, but most importantly, you need to know what is your brand. That means you need to know who you are. And that's a big thing with discovering yourself in college. And so moving on, y'all getting some quick shout outs over here on this chat is blowing up. Okay. They're giving y'all some love. So the next question I have for you all, what inspired you to build your brand?
Back to what I said earlier, it was my parents. My parents have they've been successful and they've helped me, they've molded me. And I just knew that I wanted to be my own man. I knew I couldn't lean on their shoulders for them to provide for so much longer. I knew I needed to step out my comfort zone. I know that I needed to step up as a man to develop and lead and to better myself for the future after I graduate, to put me in a better position. So that's what inspired me to create my brand.
For me, early on, I just kind of realized that my path was really different from everybody else, and not in the sense that, like, I just always knew that what I had destined was, more than what I could imagine. So most, like, what kind of shifted everything for me to, like, realize, like, how I wanted to move, or what inspired me to create my brand, was really evaluating, like, what I was surrounded by, or just reflecting on, like, all the people I came across in my life, and seeing, like, the type of people they were, and seeing how that's, done well for them. And then also, like I said, like, from high school to college, I've always had somebody who's poured into me in a different way, and I saw how that changed their lives. So, like, for me, it was really about, becoming those who poured into me and giving back to people the same way that I was. Because yes, by myself, I would have probably been successful, but people pouring into me, giving me different, pats on the backs, coaching tips here and there, like, really molded me, because I came into college kind of just running. Like, I wasn't like the average freshman looking for this, looking for that. I knew where I was going, and that really changed the game for me, honestly. But yeah.
So you just hit on something, and this was not one of the questions I had posed, but let's talk about mentorship. Do you all have mentors, and why do you believe that mentors are so important, especially at the collegiate level?
Yeah, so I definitely have mentors. A lot of people were my mentors before I gave them the title. They just didn't know yet they were the mentors already. But having mentors are so essential, because, like, you can be young, you can be a young go-getter all you want to, but, like, you cannot, the years of experience does not equivocate to, like, skill. Like, skill is good, but skill, longevity, experiences. So if you're a person who's naturally skilled, and you're matched with somebody who has the skill and they have the experience, that, having the skill won't let you'll be unstoppable. So, like, me having people along the way, even though I'm doing good, still telling me, well, you could do it this way, or if you do this, this can happen, has really changed the game, because it kind of puts you a step forward. It gives you all those extra years that they went through without you even going through it. So that's why having a mentor is important.
For me, before, I like to do a lot of things by myself. So coming into college, I didn't have a mentor. Last year, I didn't have a mentor. I just, like Bilal said, I came with a path that I wanted to just do it by myself. But when I crossed, I had got a whole fraternity of brothers, and they've helped me throughout the way. Like, Bilal sat down with me. He's critiqued my resume. He's set me up for internship opportunities is just a big fraternal thing. And seeing that, it makes me want to reach back and find mentors that can help me so I won't have to go through some of the things that other people went through. And that's just something that I've been developing as I've gotten older. I realized that I can't do everything by myself. I have to ask people for help and just things like that.
I mean, outside of Bilal's parents, I wonder who he got that go-getting from, who taught him about the importance of having a good resume and why he should go get that internship.
It was some lady from Guyana. I don't know.
She must have been very wise. And so they touched on something, and thank you both for being candid and transparent about that, because mentorship, ladies and gentlemen, whether we like it or not, is definitely important, and finding the right mentor is even more essential, because sometimes some people come to your life for a reason and for a season, and they're not necessarily a mentor, but they can be actually a key figure at that time to give you a certain some information, specific information that you need. But mentorship is definitely something that's important. And sometimes people are mentoring you, like you said, Troy, and you don't even know it because you didn't put a label on it. They didn't put a label on it. And so it's just that relationship. And notice one of the things with mentorship is not just all get. I give something as well. So even with my mentees, I learn from them also. So I get something. I learn also how to be patient sometimes, because some of them don't listen. And then we have to go back and make some corrections yet again because they didn't listen the first time. But it taught me patience as well. But mentorship, ladies and gentlemen who are watching, is so, so important and essential. And you don't realize sometimes the mentors that you actually have. Troy has his line brothers, and he has his fraternal brothers, the ones who are older, like I could say for Victor, because he is Mr. A&T. Troy may aspire to be Mr. A&T one day, Then he has Bilal, another senior, and him being a sophomore, if he decides that he wants to start a company even whilst he's in college, and he wants to, it's just, mentors are very, very important. So I highly suggest that you find that one individual that you can really connect with and that you can be honest with. That's another big thing, because sometimes we want to mentor, but we don't want to be honest about the struggles that we're having and the things that we really desire to do, because sometimes we're scared that they're going to steal our idea and all this other hoorahs. But you want to definitely get you a mentor. But 3 things I always tell people when you're looking for a mentor: first off, listen to what they say. Okay, before you ask them to be your mentor, listen to what they say, because sometimes the way people handle people will be an imitation of the way they handle you. Okay. 2, watch their life. But sometimes people will put on a front on all these social media networks, but you catch them in closed door and they are falling apart. So you want to make sure that you're watching the life and the way they handle their business. And 3, always for me, pray about it, because sometimes, we look at things through the carnal eyes because they're where we want to be, and you're not realizing that they have sacrificed people in order to get where they want to be. In other words, they stepped on people, they have stolen people's ideas, they have done some things that are just contrary to what a mentor should do in order to get where they need to be. So we need to be very mindful of who it is that we choose as a mentor. And so my next question for you all, as we're journeying through, and audience, please don't forget, if you have questions, please do not please do not forget to put them in the chat box. Feel free to put it in the chat box. So next question I have for you, gentlemen, let's talk about building wealth. Okay, for the future. So what is your why? What is your why when it comes to building wealth?
I'll say this question first. My number one why is economic impact, because I feel like we live in a time where everybody kind of seems to forget that, like, the biggest reason that us as Black people are in a deficit is because of the wealth gap. And a lot of our issues stem from us and the wealth gap. And the only real solution or solvency to, you know, combat that issue would be to obtain wealth and acquire wealth, and not just any type of wealth, generational wealth, wealth that can be passed down. So we won't rely on the government for welfare, stimulus checks, and all that, because at the end of the day, most of our problems are because of lack of funding, lack of this. If we had it, we wouldn't be worried about how they're using money on that side or how they're not mistreating us on this side. If we had our own source of income, if we had our own generational wealth, then we wouldn't have to deal with half the problem we deal with, because half the problems stem from not having money or lack of resources or being, you know, mistreated or not given enough, while other populations don't even worry about the issues that, you know, stem from wealth, because they know at the end of the day, like, not to bring it up, I'm not trying to generalize it, but like the Jewish community is a great example. They keep the money in their communities, and it doesn't matter if Trump doesn't give them a stimulus check, because the Jewish community is going to have some money for their son's bar mitzvah. They're going to have some money. They're going to have like, they set things up perfectly. And I feel like us as the Black community, yes, we've been disenfranchised for years. Yes, we've been disadvantaged, but this is the age of, you know, enlightenment. I feel like we're going through like a renaissance right now, where a lot of people are waking up and realizing that, no, you don't have to clock in every day to make your dreams reality. You can really think and grow rich. You can come up with an idea, put some work effort towards it, tell people, network, and actually make something for yourself. And it feels way better than, you know, getting a check from somebody who's going to take all of your time, make double your amount, and then fire you at any moment. So yeah, that's why.
For me, my thing is just like Bilal said, you don't have to be afraid to open up your own businesses, to start things, because the people that are your bosses, they came up with ideas some way. Why can't that be you? So why not seize the moment to become a boss, to make other people work for you? And then another thing I have is just start saving money a little bit at a time. You get a check, try to take out maybe 10, 15% and put that in your savings, and that'll just keep adding up. And next thing you know, you'll have enough to buy a house, a car, or just save it for your kids. So I think saving is also a big thing that we have to work on, because that was a big thing for me coming into college, and I didn't have a job, or I had a job, but I was making minimal amounts of money. So I had to learn how to save my money, to spend it on what I needed to use it on. If that was to go out to eat, if that was to buy gas for my car, if that was for stuff like that. So that's another big thing about building wealth.
Also,
Most
before
definitely.
I was gonna add about another thing we don't touch on when we talk about, like, so, you know, coming up, you know, your parents either tell you to save your money or take care of your money, but we're never really taught how to invest our money. So yes, you can have money and you can have your money sitting for 2 years, but why have $300 when you can turn your 300 to 400 by, you know, we're never really taught that, like, you're not supposed to just let your money sit. While you have money, invest it in the right thing. When they say don't spend your money, they really mean don't spend it on unnecessary things. They never tell us that you can spend $300 to buy some shirts, resell the shirts, take the profit at, and then buy some more and flip it just like that. They never really emphasize that. And there's a CEO, he's 14 years old. His name is Trey Brown. He has this brand called Spurgo. I watched this 14-year-old talk about how he started off with $150 in birthday money. And now he's bringing in like over 100,000 off a clothing brand. He's 14. So after I saw that, I was like, yo, like, we've been misled this whole time. Like, they really want us to conform to one way. And then, like, all the other ways are just, you know, they're too crazy. That can't happen. Like, it sounds too good to be true, but like, it happens every day. And we just, you know, oblivious to the fact. But yeah, definitely investing money. Investing money is one thing I feel like we have to emphasize more in the Black community. Not just saving. Saving is good, but make your money work for you. It's just going to sit there. You don't want the same $2,000 to be there next 2 years. You want to double it. So yeah.
And like, can I say something else? Like Bilal was saying, you can really invest in anything. So I'm really big into like shoes and fashion gear like that. And it's a big market for that. So you can buy a shoe for $200 and you can flip the shoe for $600 and have a $400 profit. And then you do the same thing and just keep making more and more money. And that's what I spent a lot of my money on when I was little. If I would have known how to do that, the ins and outs on how to resell shoes, how to get bots and things like that, that's something that I would have took advantage of as I was a kid.
Yeah, because there's some guys in Greensboro who started a store because they were doing that and it was just going well. And now they have a whole store. I can't remember the names, but there's a couple of gentlemen in Greensboro. So I cannot agree with both of you, Kylie. There's so much I can say and unpack in just some of the things that you all are saying about building wealth. So first and foremost, Like Bilal said, when we're not talking about getting rich. Okay, there's a difference between getting rich and building wealth. Okay, building wealth, we're going for longevity. We're going for generational wealth. We're not just trying to get rich quick and then spend our money on things that as soon as you drive off the parking lot, the value depreciates. You know, if you lose that diamond chain or whatever it may be, if unless you have insurance on it, it's not really of a value. And I'm not saying that you should not have nice things. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if the materials that you have is worth more, or is more than what you have in savings and investment, there is a problem. That's a major problem. If the car outside, you don't even have the car payment in your bank account, that's a problem. So one of the things, I'm gonna touch on what Troy said about savings. You need to make savings a bill, just the same way that you pay Duke Energy, the same way that you pay your water bill on wherever it needs to be. You need to make savings a bill, and your savings can be what you build as an emergency fund. What Dave Ramsey, if you don't know who Dave Ramsey is, you need to go look him up. He talks all about building wealth. Okay, he is the one who talks about paying cash for everything. Him, Anthony O'Neill's another gentleman. I sent my class to watch because he came to my church a couple of Thursdays ago, and I told them to tune in to listen to some of the tips he was giving about paying off student loans and different things like that if you have them. And so you want to make savings a bill. You want to be able to put some of that money into your savings, because that can be your emergency fund. That can be your 3 to 6. That's what you should have in your savings, 3 to 6 months, because in case you lose your job, can you live for 3 to 6 months without getting a check? Okay. And then going down to what Bilal talked about, investing. All right. Investing. I cannot tell you all how much I have poured into the market since COVID started. Because when them stock prices went down, that's when I went and bought them all up. And guess what? They are going back up. That is the market. Ladies and gentlemen, you have got to take risks. You've got to take risks. Okay, that's the beauty of the market. That's the beauty of money. That's the beauty of business ownership. You're gonna take a risk. You gotta invest in it in order to see that return. That return may not be today. That return might not even be next year, but trust and believe you're going to get a return. And I will add one more thing for those of you out there: property. You're not too young to purchase property. I saw a post the other day. A father purchased his daughter a house for her 13th birthday. I know someone who, when he found out his wife is pregnant, purchased the baby a house. You are building generational wealth, and not just houses, but the next big thing that's coming. And I'm gonna give y'all a tip. My real estate agent Carmesia was on here a couple of weeks ago. If you have not watched that video, you need to go back on my channel and watch that video. Land is where it's at, y'all. Purchasing land, that's where it's at. I'm telling y'all, that's the next big thing. Purchasing some land, not just getting the property, but finding the land, because then you can build whatever you want to build on that land. But gentlemen, let me give y'all the question, y'all, because y'all just own it. Let me tell y'all how y'all own it tonight. Okay. So there's a question here from Bellanora. I hope I pronounced your name right, sweetheart. So Bilal, it says yes, he does have a business. So they talk about your business real quick, Bilal. Somebody asked, do you have a business? Talk about your business real quick.
Yes, I actually have a couple, but Unchained Inc. is my main one. It's a diversity recruiting platform. It helps HBCU students like myself obtain career mentorship opportunities. So it operates kind of like a better version of LinkedIn and Handshake. It's specifically for HBCU students. So it's a web platform right now. We're releasing the app on Saturday. Students can basically create a profile, connect with other students, and apply to jobs. Employers can go on there, post jobs, and connect with students. And all this is, in efforts to make, diversity and inclusion the standard for recruiting. Because now we're in a frenzy where every company is like, oh, we want to hire diverse, we want to hire diverse. HBCU students been the prize. Like, just because they're not starting to realize it, this is our time to capitalize and get our people indoors where we couldn't have been. So now we make it the standard instead of just some, special offer, because we're not a special offer. That's what it is. Yeah.
We're making it the standard. We're not a special offer. Now that right there,
Trademark right there.
thank you, Troy. You took the words right out my mouth. That's a trademark. We are the standard. I love it. We are not a special offer. We're not just another checkbox just for you to say you have some diversity or some diversity on your team, whether it be black, whether it be male, no, we ain't got time. We ain't got no time. Mr. Sophomore, what is next? The people want to know what is next for you.
Next year, I really want to get a couple internships. I want to get more involved in my field and my major, because that's what's going to set me up for my career path. And then after that, I just, as far as running wise in SGA, I can't tell you what's coming because I don't know. I don't know what I have planned for me next year, but I know I really want to get involved with the math curriculum. I want to have some research opportunities next school year. I know I missed out on it or some of it this semester. I want to work on that for the upcoming school year to give me some more experience and just make me more marketable for companies.
Definitely research. Let's definitely talk about that offline. But the research is where it's at. I love research. If I can do it every single day, somebody want to pay me. Now, if there's somebody out there, if you would like to pay me to do research on your education system, I'll be happy to oblige. Okay, you can just call me. You can find me. My number is on the site. Okay. So someone else wanted to know when you're looking for yes, so somebody put in there, I love that, somebody put in there, listen to them, watch their life and pray when they're talking about mentors. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate that. Aaron said that y'all are speaking facts when we were talking about money. So yeah, LB is cheering you guys. Love y'all. I absolutely love y'all friendship and y'all brotherhood. Is absolutely beautiful. And so how do you plan to apply your degree to your wealth building plan? Because we know some of our multi-millionaire billionaires, one of my I hate to say favorites, but yes, I do have a list. Bill Gates is on that. They did not obtain the degree or do all these different things, but because you are on that venture path to obtain your degree, what do you plan to do with your degree that will help you with your plans to build wealth?
Okay. I can take that question first just because I'm kind of at an intersection right now between that, because again, I'm a liberal studies pre-law major. Originally before this year, I was fully set on track to go to law school, but all that changed once I realized I wanted to become like a serial entrepreneur. And so my trajectory shifted, and I realized that a lot of times coming into college, people allow their degree to put them in a box. And, so me going out on a whim, being a liberal studies major, I had marketing internships in the Office of Civil Rights, and then finance internships with Goldman Sachs. And at first, coming in, because my degree was liberal studies, and what we normally think is that you have to seek out opportunities within your major, and not that you're a college student, you have time to mess up and try different things. Once I realized that, my whole trajectory changed of we come to college not just for the education, but it's really for the network. Because once you go to a job, it doesn't matter what your degree is. Everybody goes through training. If you're coachable, like they used to say in high school, if you're coachable, they can put you on the team. If you can do the basic things, if you can actually take protocol. So the working hard in school and getting your degree is a good thing, but do not allow your degree to define you, because you are what, kind of carries yourself. What you do and what you're able to, experience and pick up from different places is what makes you a holistic person. That's why on interviews, and on interviews for jobs and stuff, when they ask for your resume, they ask for relevant experience. But once you get that interview, that's your chance to really tell them who you are. That's why they have an interview, because they would just stop at the resumes, because they know there's more than meets the eye. So that's what you have to show. Don't let your degree define you. Use it, work hard, but also use your time wisely and not put yourself in the box. So yeah.
Right.
For me, I'm an applied mathematics student, so you can't do anything in the world without math. So I feel like I'll be very marketable, and I didn't know what I wanted to do coming to college. So I knew if I was a math major, I could do anything. I could apply it anywhere. But the concentration that I want to apply it to is economics. So I want to learn how to invest, how to make smart decisions, the ins and out on the stock market and things like that. And that's how I plan to attain my wealth.
And that's good. I will tell you all a story. I think Bilal was a sophomore when this happened. Ernest and Young, one of the largest investment firms within the world, not just within our nation, but also in the world, came to A&T. Specifically, they actually came to the middle college because they wanted to start a program with us. We're talking about investing and doing all these different things. And one of the things that our very first assumption is where would they go if they want to find people to work? Which department? Which department do y'all think they will go to?
What, Office of Career Service? Are you talking about?
No, but which school? Which school would they normally recruit from when you think in Ernest and Young?
Probably a PWI.
The business, right?
Mm-hmm.
The business department, business.
Are you
everybody
talking about out of the school? You talking about out of A&T? Okay.
Yes, out of A&T. Which college would they go to?
Business. Yeah, business.
Yeah, the business. That's not what they did. They actually went to engineering. Because one of the things the lady told us, she was actually their tax attorney for the because she said she went to law school and she wanted to actually continue. She thought she was going to go to the courtroom and working for a business firm. Who knows? She was telling us about a young man in their company. He literally is the only person in their company that does his job. Literally. And he was an engineering major. And 20 something making six figures because he's the only one that can do what he can do. And so that's to show you all that, like Bilal said, and even Troy, do not limit yourself or put yourself in a box because of the degree that you have. Like Troy with applied math, when I tell you it's limitless, he can do from research, from international research to being, international ambassador, because of you looking at international economics, or if he decides that he wants to make up new forms of math, which I don't know how that works, but who knows? Right. So those new laws in math, those new principles in math, but who knows? Maybe one day he wants to be a college professor, but the sky is not limit. And even as Bilal, I remember with the day he came and we talked about that major and him being on track to go to a specific law school, and then look where he is now. Those things change. I know for me, when I was in college, being a physical therapist was like you couldn't tell me anything else. I'm not doing anything else in my life. That is what I'm going to do. I am going to work for the NBA, the NFL. I'm going to be making this boohoo money. Child, I am in education. Ain't no way close to the NBA, NFL. The closest I get is my television when I'm watching the games. Okay, that's it. So, or when I go to games in person, when we were allowed to go to games in person. But, that was, you never know. So don't limit yourself, even with opportunities for internships and different things like that. You can take it from these two gentlemen. Again, I just commend them for the amazing things that they are doing. If you see them on campus, stop them and ask them a question. Both of them are approachable. Even though I just met Troy, Lord, I'm messing up your name. I'm going to take him as one of my children too, like I've done with Bilal. And so, I just approach them, ask them, talk to them because they're approachable. They know what they're talking about, y'all. Like, you cannot tell me, and there's many students on our campus that are like them, that have that mindset, but you have got to get in your mind that I have to have a goal, and achieving that goal is my main priority. I can have fun. I'm going to enjoy my college days. By all means, my 4 years was some of the best years of my life. But I got what I need to get done. I fulfilled what I came to my school for. I went to Hampton undergrad. I got my master's at A&T, got my PhD at Walden University, and I kept my mind focused as in, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go get another doctorate. I even thought about getting a law degree. But I don't know about all that. It's too much reading in law. Law has just too much. They got too much stuff going on. So I'm gonna just get another doctorate in something else. But but that's just me. I enjoy education. I love education. I love being in school. I call myself a sophisticated nerd. And so I just love it. But you guys, you see them, definitely talk to them. They're approachable. Again, these gentlemen have drop some gem on this evening, and just to see, you know, I can speak for Bilal, to see where he's come from that child's sophomore year, y'all, because
Oh
we
shoot!
had a little couple of rough days.
I was hard headed. I used to be hard headed.
But we made it.
Right.
Sure.
And to see him now makes me proud. It makes my heart smile. And I'm going to get up because then I'm going to start crying. I'm very emotional when it comes to my boys. But let me stop. Not my boys, my young men. I'm very emotional when it comes to them because it just makes my heart glad. And, you know, makes me very proud to see gentlemen like you all striving. And because you are the future, I have confidence in the future. And to see what you all are doing in our present. And so, gentlemen, thank you all so much for joining us. I love the law, it's great. I know that's right. So thank you all so much for joining us on this evening. I hope everyone has enjoyed this. It will be up. I'm gonna do some edits, but it will be posted on tomorrow. So feel free to share, because you all did an amazing job on this evening. I'm gonna start tagging some people. I'm about to tag Chancellor Martin, but like, look at you. Children, they're just doing amazing things. You should be proud, Chancellor Martin.
Yes.
I'm put on my Southern Belle accent and everything. And so, gentlemen, thank you all so much again for joining us on this evening. Everyone else, we hope you enjoyed our episode on this evening. And y'all have a wonderful night, because remember, that's just what Aggies do. Have a good night.
Have a good one, everybody.
Have a good one. Peace.